The nutrition gap. So we're going to be talking about the history, whole foods, the process where whole foods come from and how they get onto the shelves, and then supplements. If we do think that, we're not getting enough minerals and vitamins from our nutrition from food and fruit as well. So the history compared to the present. So the nutrition gap basically refers to the difference between the levels of nutrients we get from our standard Western diet versus the nutrient levels required as being needed for optimal health in the population today. So we've basically evolved from hunter-gatherer tribes that foraged for food and lived extremely active lives roaming the savannah on a day-to-day basis. So running away from predators, hunting and collecting food and water. Now, they used to burn roughly between 4,000 to 5,000 calories per day in the process, whereas these days we are much less active, have lower energy needs, but require the same nutrient levels as of today. So you can imagine when you're hunting for food, they might go all day without eating, so basically fasting, and then have quite a substantial amount of food in one hit. They may go 4 or 5 days without food, hunt again. So they are always on the go. They're very active compared to now. I am sat at a desk doing this slideshow presentation. We don't have to hunt for food. It's at the click of a button. So you can see how different our lives are, but we still need the same level of nutrients. Physiologically, we haven't changed that much over a few millions of years, but we do need the same level of nutrients in our body, just nowhere near as many calories as what hunter-gatherers used to have. So when it comes to hitting nutrients, minerals, and getting those vital vitamins in, what a lot of people come to me and say, shouldn't I be taking these tablets? Shouldn't I be taking, supplements to get these vitamin C, vitamin D? And I always say no. The first thing that we should look at is, whilst we go over to this, is food first. So that question, should we look at food first? Absolutely, we should look at food first. So it should always be a food first approach, the very basics. So we're looking at more fruit, more veg, more protein, and more water. When you hit those 4 points, your health, your body composition, you're optimizing the best healthy approach for your body and mind. So we always start with the fundamental food pyramid, as you can see here. So I'll talk about the top bit here. But when it comes to the food pyramid, with food being the very base, which is roughly here, I couldn't get quite the right pyramid for it. But, you've got your carbohydrates, you've got your, veg, and then you've got your fruit and meat. I would say that is the base, basically, towards a healthier life. Sourcing good quality food and supplementation, that is sweets. And yes, we can have treats at the top, but supplementation is the very top of the pyramid. So when it comes to changing your body composition and optimizing your health, it needs to be food first at the base of the pyramid, and right at the top should be the supplements that we take, to catch up on the minerals and vitamins, etc. So as you progress over time, whilst we're working together through the coaching program, we work our way up the food pyramid, and we would look at supplementation to give you that extra 5 to 10%, concentration to get those minerals in. But that is like, it's a supplement that supports you. It doesn't help you change your body composition, your strength, how lean you are, your weight. It's the food right at the bottom. Instead, I just want to make sure that you're aware that the supplementation industry is marketed the other way around, from a top-down approach where people think, what supplements should I get straight away? Which is a shame, because it gives everyone a misconception of what to do. Realistically, we need to sort our shit out. The first very basics that we need to look at is food, good quality sourced food, and then work our way up. We look at a food first approach because this is to raise awareness and the importance of proper nutrition and hydration. However, it's not always practical, and we would look at supplementation such as protein powder, vitamin capsules, if we're just not getting enough from our food sources. So another big question is, what contributes to the gap in nutrition? So why are you not getting enough minerals? Why are you not getting enough nutrients on board, and vitamins? So there's so many factors that can, affect this, and I'm going to go through this now, and it'll be all clear once we go through the points. But for me, sadly, it's not as simple as just saying eat more fruit and veg. And many factors actually contribute towards the nutrition gap. So number one, food processing. So after harvesting, food begins to rapidly deteriorate. It's often processed using different methods such as milling, freezing, or grinding to go into the next step in the food manufacturing process. So the further away the food is from its natural state, the less it retains its original nutrients. So, for example, milling flour strips calcium, zinc, and folate. Now, we are talking on a minuscule kind of amount, but it still affects the nutrient gap. So that's number one. Farming methods. So the rise in pesticides and herbicides on crops, more intensive farming, geo and soil depletion all affect the nutrient density of food because a lot of it comes from the ground. So this one, food choices, this is key. So people live in convenience lifestyles, consuming foods and drinks that are heavily refined, processed and low in nutrients, yet high in calories. So think about when someone orders a triple chocolate frappuccino at Starbucks, that's got close to, just say for example, 800 calories. Think of the calories based on the cream, high fat versus the actual amount you can consume. So meat, veg and fruit. You're obviously going to get way more nutrient density and satiation from this meal than the frappuccino. So let's think about 800 calories worth of, fruit, veg and protein in one meal compared to a frappuccino. You're going to get more nutrients, more benefits from that healthier meal that's, I'd say, a plateful, 100% be a plateful. You'll be fuller for longer, you'll recover better compared to that frappuccino. So when you compare these food choices that people make, it's poor because we just want ease. So not all calories are created equally. Similarly to a mile isn't always a mile, but a mile uphill and a mile downhill vary drastically. So that's just an example of, looking at calories and how nutrient dense some of them are. So what I'm doing now, sat at an office, so lifestyle choices. Sorry, I got that one mixed up. So that's sedentary lifestyle. So lifestyle choices, so alcohol, poor sleep, smoking, stress, antibiotic use, and environmental toxins deplete nutrients and increase the need for them in our diet. So this is where, if our lifestyle choices are really poor, we may look at supplements. What I meant to say is the sedentary lifestyle. So this is what I am currently doing, sat in an office, and for a good couple of hours a day, I am sat down. So I'm not burning as many calories. So being more sedentary than our ancestor means we need less calories. We need to consume less calories than what they used to. We still need the same amount of micronutrients to function optimally. And then last but not least, digestive health. So high stress levels, poor sleep, antibiotic use and diet of processed and high sugar food can all affect our ability to absorb nutrients as we should. So this one right here is probably the most essential to all of us when we look at the positives and negatives really to our lifestyle now compared to what our ancestors used to live like. So why supplement in the first place? Now, the previous page probably showed you an indication why we actually take supplements on board. So a lot of the population struggle to meet the daily nutrient requirements due to poor lifestyle choices, hectic schedules, and a lack of education around what is healthy. So what I would say is that, we don't always choose for our lifestyles to be the way they are. And yes, we do have hectic lifestyles. So on the go 24/7, we've got meetings all over the place. So we're not getting the nutrients that we need on board. So that would be reason number one. So this is where the dependence has been increased on supplements to fill the gap due to the high level of convenience. Everything is easier to take in a pill form, basically, or in powder form, than it is to stand, prepare, cook, and consume full nutrient-dense meals. Now, everybody's different. Work lifestyle, commitments, if you're lazy, if you're not, if you're well-driven. So I would always say, please, stand, prepare, cook, and consume full nutrient-dense meals. Make the effort to make these meals and you'll feel better. It just takes a little bit of time. So we are inherently less active due to our sedentary lifestyles, with the average intake being around 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. So you can see we are on average eating way too many calories to which our bodies are burning on a daily basis. So that's the way that we end up adding weight on, because we are eating too much, but we're not moving enough. So, when you break it down, it's so simple to lose weight. We need to move more, burn more active overall calories throughout the day compared to what we're consuming. So that's probably the last slide. And what I would say is, why does all this matter? So from my personal corner and why I do it, as a coach, I give a shit about your health, basically. I want you to learn the basics and the fundamentals about changing your lifestyle and making sure that those basic principles are in place before we start to look at supplements. I want you to look at food. So proteins, veg, and carbohydrates and fats. I want you to look at them and go, right, this is going to feed my body well. I'm going to get all the nutrients on board and I'm going to feel better, rather than just clicking a button, getting a Uber Eats, and then getting it to your house and not making the effort, right? What's going in my body? How's it making me feel, etc. So it matters because we need to be more aware of the why, the how, and the when with the nutrients and the gaps we all face in our diet, and just to make sure you are informed when it comes to selecting the right tools for the job with the nutrient gaps. If we're exercising more, putting our body under stress, we need more protein. If we're low on energy, we may need to increase carbohydrates. Fats are in our diet because it's good for digestion and overall health and optimizing it. So last but not least, let's look at supplements as the part we may add in to bring up the weak parts in the machine we call our body. So imagine, your body is a machine. You've got loads of cogs. The cogs can be steps, sleep, food. If those cogs aren't working right, sometimes we may add in the supplementation. I hope this slide shows, giving you a little bit more, of an in-depth of why the nutrient gap is present, what we need to be doing ourselves, and where our ancestors used to come from and where we are now compared to the calories that we do actually need compared to don't. So yeah, hope this has served well. Enjoy.